Today we're making this very cute cat tray that will keep your glasses safe and sound, along with other small things that tend to wander off, like earbuds, jewelry, or keys. So gather your supplies and let's begin! And now we're going to use the face part of the pattern to cut the piece of cardboard. And we need the cardboard to make the whole case a little more sturdy. I'm using a Lego box, but a cereal box will work too. Just double it up since it is thinner and more flexible. I won't use any thick cardboard though, because felt pieces might not align properly. Before stitching the ears, check that they are mirrored, so you have a left and a right ear. So let's put together the face now. You can use this little guide right here, and I'm gonna start with the spots. You don't have to use the spots, you can just use one color, or you can come up with your own pattern. But these are the spots I'm going to use, like this, and now we're gonna attach them. Now let's put together the rest of the face. You can use this guide from the template to place the eyes. They should be roughly in the middle of the face vertically. And the nose. I'm going to use a French knot stitch to add a little light reflection, but if you're unfamiliar with this, you can check out my video on French knots. I'm using a disappearing ink marker, but if you don't have one, you can use a regular marker that's a little bit darker than the color of your felt. To make the whiskers, start with one long stitch as a guide, and then go over it with back stitches to hold it in place. And now let's work on the side strip. It's gonna go around like this on this side and then on the other side. Make sure you pick the inner side strip. It looks thinner than the outer one. And to make sure there are no threads sticking out at the top of my side strip, I'm going to back up a couple of stitches and cut my thread there. If your pieces don't align perfectly on one side like I have it here, don't worry about it, just use that side when attaching to the face and it will not show. And when attaching the side strip to the face, the wrong side should be facing out. Place the seam in the middle of the short side of the face so it lines up with the outer side strip later. This seam will not be visible in the end, so you can use any stitch you like. Make sure your needle goes through all the layers. Stitch to the center of the opposite side, even if the strip is longer. We'll trim the excess later. I made it slightly longer to account for variations in felt stretch. When trimming off excess fabric, if you have any, make sure you cut parallel to the side strip and not at an angle. And leave a little bit of seam allowance. For the outer shell side strip, the wrong side will be facing inward. And this seam will be on the outside, so I'm using blanket stitch. I like to use a temporary stitch to hold the ears in place while I'm stitching the pieces together. I'm going to stitch the top part first and then insert the cardboard. Align the seams of the inner and outer side strips. And once the ear is secured with a few stitches, you can remove the temporary stitch. Place the cardboard with the printed side facing down, and if it's showing through too much at the bottom, you can glue a piece of paper over it. And here we go, we're almost done. There's one more small step that I like to do, so it doesn't slide around, and also it helps with puckering. Sometimes if you use thinner felt, it can start gathering in the middle like this. So I like to stretch it out and attach the inner part to the outer shell. I'm starting without a knot here, but if you're unfamiliar with the technique, check out my video on how to start without a knot. I'm stitching in and out to connect the two layers, trying to keep the stitches as hidden as possible. And we're done! Now your glasses have their own cute little home. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.